This is Basics of Crafting Part 3, and this video covers using Chaos Orbs, Exalted Orbs, and reforging rare base types. Before we get started, there are a couple tools or resources that are very ideal for this process. The one is a resource I've been using and showed in almost every single video, and that's PoE2DB. This allows me to check all of the mod tiers and the item level requirements, as well as the mod pools that the item can roll. I'm currently under Dex Intellect bases for body armors, as that's what I'm currently working with. The second tool that I would highly recommend is Exiled Exchange 2. In terms of PoE 1, this was called Awaken PoE Trade, and it is an overlay that allows you to basically very quickly price check items without having to go to the trade website and physically type in every single modifier, search for them one at a time just to price check an item. This is a very quick, not automated, but a very quick and easy process that that's just immensely useful and saves you a great amount of time. I'm using the Windows 10 installer, nothing crazy. That's what I'd recommend. I'll throw a link to both these websites in the description. Coming back to the game, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Wayfarer's jackets here. And all of these are rare base type. Some of them I have picked up. That's one source where you can get rare base types. Others you could gamble for, and still others when you get a common or magic base type and you end up regaling it because it had 2 solid affixes on it, and you then you create your own rare. But I have 6 of them right here for the sake of the video, so let's go over them. We're gonna start with let's start with this one right here. In order to see whether you should use a Chaos Orb, Exalted Orb, or Reforge. Well, Reforge is kind of an obvious use. If there are no good modifiers on the item, you're going to end up reforging. This is most likely a candidate for reforging. If I click Control-Alt-D, and I have Exiled Exchange installed, it brings up this overlay, which allows me to select the stats of my item to search for it. And this is just searching for a base body armor with evasion energy shield based on what I have here. Specifically, I want to search for Wayfarer's jackets. And additionally, I want to see what the what I can do with items. I know that this right here is not really useful, and this right here is not really useful. So I'm going to check the 2 useful ones. I'm also not going to check chaos resistance, but I will go ahead and check item level. 1 Exalted Orb. Well, that's not good, because if I pour 1 Exalted Orb into it and it doesn't sell, and these look like they were listed a while ago, which means it's not moving anywhere. We know, looking at this, also, if we hold Alt, Option on a Mac, you can tell that the mod tiers on this are kind of crappy. This is not an item that I would go ahead and Exalt or Chaos. So I'm going to stick it back over here, and we're going to pull this one out instead. Let's look at the mods. This has a life prefix, which is okay. It has an armor and energy shield, evasion and energy shield prefix. It has a fire resistance and dex suffix. I think the mods on this are pretty solid, actually, with the exception of the life. It doesn't serve any purpose. This item has potential to be chaos rolled. And a Chaos Orb removes a random modifier and augments it with a new random modifier. So it's going to remove any random modifier from the item and replace it with the exception of implicits. This item has an implicit on it, being the chaos resistance. It can't remove that. That is part of the base type of the item. So this is going to remove any of the prefixes or suffixes, one of them, and replace it with a random prefix or suffix depending on what slots are open. So I have a 24% chance of hitting that life mod right there. If I hit the life mod and it rolls something good, this could be usable. If not, it's probably a candidate to be reforged. So let's go ahead and use a Chaos Orb, and let's see what it does. It did not hit the life. In fact, what did it hit? It hit our nice energy shield mod, unfortunately, and replaced it with the lowest level, a T1, adding basically nothing to the item. In fact, that bricked this item. That's unfortunate, but it happens quite often. So we now have 2 bases candidates for reforging. Let's move on to the third one. Looking at this has a tier 6 life energy shield evasion with a fire resistance and dexterity node. This is pretty solid. Let's price check this. So Control-Alt-D, and I'm going to go ahead and use Armor Evasion, 376. So we're going to up this to 350. Select my Wayfarer jacket. We're going to update 135 right here. Let's go like Dexterity, Fire Resistance. We don't really care about the max life. Let's see where this falls alone. This looks like, so I'm going to click here on Trade, and that's going to open up the link to a PoE trade. So it automatically pulls all the modifiers I selected in here without me having to do a bunch of work typing in, which is why that mod is, or the app is so convenient. So looking at this, there's 100 available. Let's see what this has. This is kind of crappy. That's a kind of high level rule. This is crappy. I want to see where it starts changing. So these are all just 1 Exalt. Okay, to get 2 Exalts. How long is this at here? 3 days? 11 days, 9 days, 7 days, 11. These aren't moving. Okay, this one was just posted. Let's see here. Stat-wise, this is along the same baseline where mine is. I could potentially exalt this, and it could potentially add value to the item. Now, for my character personally, I don't think I can get an upgrade off this. I have a pretty good armor, so this would be for an attempt to make profit. I highly doubt adding another mod is going to do anything to this, but for the sake of showing this, we're going to go ahead and add one real fast here. So we're going to exalt this. It's going to add a random prefix or suffix. This has 3 mods on it. Let's see what happens. It added one of the worst possible things it could add. Oh no, never mind. That's a T8 life regeneration node. I'm not sure that's overly great, but it's not bad either. Let's see if that changes the value at all. So we're going to go like this. We're going to keep everything else the same. Wayfarer's jacket, change this to 350 and change this to 130. See if there's any difference. Okay, so this is now between, I've put in 1 Exalt into the item, and it looks like it's worth between 1 to 5 Exalted Orbs. Let's throw in another and see what happens. That's a high life roll. It's 1 from bottom. The highest tier, I believe, is tier 11. We can verify that by going over to PoEDB. Life actually has 13 tiers. I rolled, I think, in here, so this is 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. It's still really solid. So let's go ahead and price check this now. It has still another. So I'm 2 Exalts into this, and I want to keep track of this because at a certain time there might be a break point where this doesn't it's not profitable anymore. But this looks like this might actually be profitable. So I'm going to select all of this. Ooh, now we're getting kind of pricey with what we have selected here, and this is, I don't even know if this is on the right base type. 2 Divine. Let's see what that looks like, actually. That's really solid. And here's the thing. If I look at the mod pools, and this is one way that you can tell whether this is worth doing again or not. So what can I can't get life. I can't get this hybrid one right here because I already have it. So I can either get armor evasion, spirit, thorn damage, or a different armor evasion, or sorry, energy shield evasion. Oh, man, I keep saying armor evasion, my bad. I think this is probably worth doing again. Let's try, see what happens. This is just, and this is sheer luck. So I don't, we could change this to 500. I think this has pretty good mods on it. Let's go ahead and use armor. 511. This is pretty solid. We're gonna go ahead and use 2 orbs, and you know what? Let's corrupt it for the fun of it. It's not part of the video, but we're gonna do it. And we got really lucky. It added a 3rd socket. This is highly valuable now, and we're going to put in 1, 2, 3 iron runes into this. This now has some potential to sell. I've spent about 4 Exalted Orbs on this. There's nothing that even shows close to this based on the armor and evasion I have. I think I can sell this for a solid amount. I'm going to put this one up for sale, and I think I'm going to list this at 1 Divine Orb. If it doesn't sell, I'll lower the price. But that ended up turning out very well. That is the chance you take when you do this. Sometimes, often, like the first one, it doesn't turn out well at all. Here's another example of a base that has 3 mods on it. This is a base that was, I regaled after rolling the first 2 mods, and then I got that intellect. Now, a Chaos Orb is going to add or remove 1 in 3 chance of getting that intellect mod off here. Let's see what happens. It didn't. It replaced it with life regeneration. T10, it's max, but it's basically bricks the item. I now have 3 rare bases, and we have Reforge potential. Let's see what we get.
I speak.
This is not good. This next one has some maximum life, Wayfarer jacket, additional chaos resistance, and nothing else is really worth anything. It also has every mod tier full. No, it doesn't. It's missing a prefix. I don't think I can add much value to this item, even by adding a prefix, because the suffixes aren't overly great. As a result, this item is worth reforging, not worth exalting. This item is interesting. This is definitely worth exalting. I didn't explain in the last one, but Exalted Orbs add a random affix to it depending on what's open. So, and depending on the mod pool and the item tier. So we're going to just go ahead and exalt this, see what happens. Unfortunately, that rolled a really bad like not even really a mid. Well, I don't know what tier that is, so let's find out. It's evasion, energy shield, and life. And it looks like these go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, there's 2 things you can do with this. You could either try exalting and see what it does. It's still missing a prefix and a suffix. Or I can try and Chaos Orb this, but if I accidentally hit a suffix, that could be not good because it has good suffixes. It has a good life roll on it, and to determine this, we should probably price check it. So Wayfarer's jacket, $350. This is set okay, and we're going to include double resistance on it. This alone right now is worth around 2 to 3 Exalted Orbs, it looks like. So adding more could substantially increase the value. And it looks like it's roughly around 5. I could get really lucky on this. We're going to go and give this a shot here, see what happens, rather than re-rolling it. What did we get? Additional chaos resistance. That's actually really good. So now if I come back in here and re-price check this, it increased exponentially in terms of what's going on here. And now that I select the right base type, then let's put the life on there as well. Look at that. 45 exalts. Let's see what that looks like here. This should look similar to ours. Theirs has a little bit more life, just a little bit more resistance, and that's at 5 exalts, but it's... So there's at 5 exalts. I put 4 into it, and the next part is just simply a gamble. If I do it again, it could be worth 5 exalts. It could be worth a lot more depending on what I roll. Let's see what happens. That actually rolled absolutely amazing. That is a tier... what is that? A tier... This is tier 6. Energy Shield Evasion. Bringing this up to 502. So we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. Apply Armors. See how far that takes it. It's at 602 before any sockets. This might even be better than the last one. We're going to go ahead and apply 1, 2. And we're going to corrupt, see if we get lucky again. Well, it unpredictably corrupts it. So we're going to just go with it. That is... It added an additional enchanted implicit on it. That's really good. We're going to go ahead and apply 2 iron to this. See how far this takes this up. 715, 275 armor energy shield, plus additional damage taken recouped as life. This is really good. We're going to go ahead and go like this and check this off right here. This is looking like it's at least 1 divine. That is a great base. No guarantee it's going to sell. If it doesn't, I will simply lower the price. We're going to put that in as a divine and see what happens. These other bases that are now left over, I'm going to come in here and toss them in my crafting tab to save once I get more rare bases, and then try again. This, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to price this at an entire 1 divine. And we'll see if it sells. Quick recap. Before you decide whether you exalt an item, check trade to see what similar items are selling for. If your item has low mod pool or low mod tiers, you probably are just going to end up reforging. If it has really solid ones, check what those mod tiers are worth, and then see what else you can add to the item. If it's likely to add not great mods to it, probably not worth it. On the other hand, if it's going to potential to be a very valuable item, that's when you know that you can potentially try exalting it. There's no guarantee the item will sell, but it could be worth more. The Exalted Orb adds a random extra modifier to the item, being prefix or suffix. Chaos Orb allows us to remove 1 random modifier and replace it with another random modifier. The tier is random, and the one removed is random. That is the Chaos Orb is what I use if when I regal a base to see if I can get rid of a bad mod if one exists after regaling. Exalted Orbs are used to amplify an item and see if we can increase or add value to the item to make a really good item. Reforge is used when all bases or all mods on the item are crap, and as a result, you get a chance at a new rare base. Hope you found the information useful. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.